Hi everyone, thanks for making the left turn for today, Sunday, July 26th, 2015. I'm George Ferror and welcome back to the Jacksonville channel and welcome to our continuing series here on the Jacksonville channel, Who Runs Jacksonville? From time to time, I talk about the people who really run Jacksonville and what's going on. There's a lot happening. There's been a lot happening since May 19th. Alvin Brown is out, he's mayor of Jacksonville, and Lenny Curry is in. And he's brought in his crew, and I want to talk about the big boys on the crew. You know, I have talked about my feelings that Lenny Curry's an empty suit, but these folks are the big folks that he's brought in, and he's got some more big folks. I'm going to focus on three people, Sam Mousa, Mike Weinstein, and Bill Spann. Sam Mousa, Chief Administrative Officer, Mike Weinstein, Chief Financial Director, and also Bill Spann, spokesman, public affairs spokesman for the mayor. And, you know, I have to, of course, tell you right up front, I didn't vote for Lenny Curry. I voted for Alvin Brown. Disappointed about how things went. But let's take a look at who these folks are. And, you know, when you're talking about a city as big as Jacksonville, you really have to have some qualified, experienced people. And even, I'm sure Lenny Curry had to admit to himself that he needed some experienced hands on deck as he took office. And as tends to happen in politics, a transition director ends up getting the big spot. And two of the three of these people were very familiar names to me. And it's going to be very interesting. These people have quite a past, quite a history, and what they do from here is going to be very impactful upon the city. I want to talk as much as I know about and what I've seen and what I know about who they are and what's up. You know, it takes a lot to run a city, I can only imagine. So let's go ahead and look at our new Chief Administrative Officer of the City of Jacksonville, Sam Mousa. So Sam Mousa has been in city government before, held a very wide variety of positions. For the city, he was a city engineer, public works director, deputy chief administrative officer, city council liaison, and also had a role in cleaning up the infamous new Duval County Courthouse project when it was under construction and there were lots of cost overruns. He was called in to clean up the mess. So, very interesting background, very experienced person, someone who has a lot of engineering and planning, public works experience, which, as we all know, if you drive around town, you know what he's up against in regards to our infrastructure and how he will, in this role, be a chief administrative officer over the entire city. So has a lot of background in engineering and planning. He previously worked for J.B. Coxwell Companies, where he was an executive vice president. Also worked for a firm called JBC Planning and Engineering. He has a lot of experience. So definitely, from what I hear through the grapevine, definitely someone, if you go in to meet him, you want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. He doesn't like to waste time, and he really wants to dig into the heart of the matter. So I'm optimistic, at least so far as experience, that he will do good, at least so far as what the objectives of the Curry administration are. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with his objectives, and I agree with some of the things that will be happening. But it is good to know that the mayor didn't hire some flunky from somewhere who didn't know anything at all. So that's one good thing. Let's look at Mike Weinstein, another familiar face, another person brought back into City Hall. He has finance experience with the city of Jacksonville, having worked as chief financial officer under mayors Ed Austin and John Delaney. And he's going to do it again for Mayor Curry. He has worked in the state legislature, worked the state attorney's office. So he was a representative in the legislature from 2008 through 2012, and had a lot of background in the state attorney's office. Now, Sam Mousa and Mike Weinstein were people who, when I was coming up back in the day, meaning in the 90s, their names were in the paper a lot. I expect more of the same. He really has to jump right in with the budget, which has been proposed. They didn't get much time because of the quirky way the state of Florida has everything set up. When the mayor takes office, they have about 20 or so days to get the budget out. So they have to really sit down in the transition, and then when they take office, start working on things. So I'm sure that Mr. Weinstein really had to hit the ground running. So another experienced hand on deck. We'll see where he goes. Okay, and finally, Bill Spann, public affairs spokesman for the city, for the mayor, has background in the Navy. He has worked with major media organizations on different shows, worked with Pentagon, a press corps, also worked under the one of the secretaries of the Department of Children and Families. So I've seen him from time to time this month on local TV, and not been 100% impressed with the presentation. But hey, it's his first month, and it's hard to really make government sexy and interesting on television. So he's kind of got a challenge, and I'm sure he will be pretty busy working extensively on getting Mayor Curry's message out. So we have this new crew of folks. There are other folks as well, and I'm sure certain names will rise to the top. How things start out in the mayor's administration can change rather dramatically. I might point out Abel Harding, who was Mayor Brown's spokesman, and got himself in trouble in an incident on the highway, got pulled over, got charged with drunk driving, and had to walk away from the position. So things can happen. Things happen. And I'm going to be watching. Now, as essentially my own little self-appointed watchdog of all the things that are going on, it brings me to talk just a little bit in this Who Runs Jacksonville about our upcoming annual budget investigation. I hold the folks down at City Hall a truth to power, and I have to do it from here. So I'm excited about what we've got planned in the next month or so when it comes to the city budget. I've been tweeting out my thoughts about what I'm seeing in the mayor's proposed budget. I've been putting it out there for you on Jacksonville Perspectives, for those of you who follow our Facebook group, Jacksonville Perspectives. And I'm going to be digging in even further. I'm going to reach my hands into the muck and pull it out and show it to you. I've already started, and as the song goes, I've only just begun. So I'm going to have broadcasts. It's going to be up here. It's going to be either one or two broadcasts. I'm trying to determine how I'll do it, but you're going to have one or two broadcasts that I promise you'll have on the Jack's Left channel by August 11th, just in time for the mayor's proposed budget to be deliberated by the city council. Hopefully we can do good. I spoke out against the problems with Mayor Brown's budget in regards to the public libraries. So, I'm bipartisan in my approach. It's an annual budget. I think one thing that we will keep in mind is that these folks are just getting started. I don't believe that there really is a honeymoon uh, from citizens for a mayor or for city council, for anyone for that matter that takes elected office. You hit the ground running, the expectations are high, and the demands are high because we work for a living, we pay our taxes, and we want to get the best bang for our buck. And I believe that there are people in the city that are getting short thrift. They're getting they're being shorted in areas of public health, veteran services, and elsewhere. That's just what I saw this morning when I started to look at the budget. So all the stuff that's happening, and my approach is really going to be, hey, though the media may give you a honeymoon, and maybe people on the city council will give you the benefit of the doubt, we must, as citizens, speak out for what is right, speak out on behalf of the people that cannot speak for themselves due to extenuating and hard circumstances, and to call to the attention of our elected officials and the general citizenry at large about what's going on. I've said earlier, and I've said previously, I don't have a lot of confidence in Mayor Curry as an individual, based on looking at his experience. I don't know what the former state boxing commissioner can do for us, and Republican GOP state chairman, but we'll see what happens. He's put on a substantial crew of folks, and time will tell. And the camera never blinks. All right, take it easy. Stay tuned. I've got a lot planned, and we've got some great History Jacksonville stuff coming up for you too. You're going to see, if you haven't already, you're starting to see History Jacksonville really take off. We're reaching the next level on History Jacksonville. I'm going to be looking at Hemming Park, previously known as Hemming Plaza, and looking at other areas around Jacksonville. This is a commitment that I'm making here in Jacksonville. This is the Jack's Left Channel, a progressive public affairs channel for the people of Jacksonville, Florida, speaking truth to power since April 17th, 2013. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you later.